Hello, good afternoon. My name is Matthew Ward and I'm a member of Camberley Chess Club. So today I thought I'd do a live video of the London system, mainly because it's popularised over the last several months. A lot of people from beginner club level all the way up to super elite GM level are playing it as white. Mainly because it's an opening that plays itself. You don't need to know a huge amount of theory for it. It's a very solid line, and actually black needs to play very precisely, otherwise he can get hacked on the king side in some cases. I've been looking at this and studying it for a while. Even when I had given up chess a few years back, it was still an opening I was curious to see and explore. So today I'm going to show a couple of lines as how to play against it as black specifically, because I believe it's going to be an opening that's going to be played a lot this year and in the coming years as well, especially at club level. First of all, white plays 1d4. You can either do d5 immediately here or knight f6, but with the two lines I'm going to show with an early c5, I'm actually going to delay d5, and there is a reason behind this. So basically, now I'm going to propose knight gf6 in this position here, and then the London system starts with 2 bishop f4. So now, my immediate plan here, you could play d5 and delay c5, but either way, against the London system, c5 is a crucial move to play very early on. Whether you delay that and play d5, d5, c5, e6, knight c6, or whether you play c5 with queen b6 idea, which is the line I'm going to suggest today. Now black's move, and I'm proposing 2 c5. This is quite a sharp line, and I believe there is actually a forcing drawn position, drawn line here. But there is obviously white doesn't have to play the particular line that forces a draw. Having said that, the alternatives for white in this particular opening, I personally feel aren't great, and it's not really what position you want as white, especially if you're playing a weaker player. So now I'm suggesting e3, and to be fair, you can play knight f3 here as well, but I think e3 is generally what's played the most here, and then I'm suggesting queen b6. So although this is a very straightforward idea as black, queen b6, obviously it has an immediate threat on threatening b2 pawn, which is currently under pressure by the queen. It's also bringing another piece in development, and it's just given white something to think about. Now he's played e3 so early, and his bishop is stuck on f4. He's trying to make that bishop look silly, effectively, and it's the only first minor piece that white has developed. There's a couple of options here. The first one is obviously queen c1, which is a very poor and not a great move. It's not what you want to be playing as white, particularly. And then there's obviously b3, taking the pressure off the hanging pawn. But then this opens up potentially to black's bishop later in the game, which you will see. And to be quite honest, it's already looking not that nice. I mean, it's a harsh assessment to say white is losing. Obviously, that's not the case, but it certainly isn't, that pleasant. And in my opinion, it's not really something I would like to be comfy playing with as white here after queen b6. So knight c3 is actually the best move, I believe. And this is where I believe there to be a forcing line. So after queen takes b2, white actually only has one move here. So I'll let you guys wait to see if you can see it, and then I will tell you what the move is. So obviously at the moment, as you can probably see, hopefully so, do let me know if you can't, queen b2 here is threatening the knight on c3, would check. So white has to do something about that. It's an immediate threat. He has to play a forcing move, knight b5. So knight b5 has several ideas, but 3 key ideas is pinning black's queen options if he gets threatened by rook b1, where he can move his queen, stopping him going on a3 and stopping him going c3 check. And it's also with knight b5, it's also stopping black retreating back to queen b6 after it's being threatened by maybe rook a b1, for example. So in this position, black is, again, this is a forcing continuation after knight c3, because these are only moves that save the position. So black has two choices here. He can play knight d5, obviously protecting c7 and threatening to maybe take on f4, despite knight coming to c7, king d8, and then rook takes pawn. And actually black doesn't have a bad game here, in my opinion. So basically after here, you can play either knight d5 or play knight a6. So I'm going to propose knight a6. But as I say, I think knight d5 and knight a6 are fairly equal here in terms of the protection of c7. So now, white needs to do something here. Don't get me wrong, he doesn't need to play. Actually, I think any other move is not particularly pleasant for white. So if he plays knight f3, for example, he can then play knight e4, with the idea of maybe coming on here, c3, but also with the idea of playing queen check here, which is actually quite unpleasant. So in this position, rook a b1 takes, queen takes a2. So far white has lost 2 pawns, but he's got very active piece play, and obviously black is lacking, as you can see, development. His bishops are still on the starting squares, his rooks haven't moved, and he's played quite a few queen moves here. So, but in this position it's a forcing, what I believe to be a forcing line, because rook a1, obviously if queen comes to d5, then you got the take on a6 with knight c7 winning the queen. And if you play here, you've also, queen e6 also falls into the trap of rook takes a6, just to play that so you can see. Pawn takes, knight c7 check, and black's losing. So therefore he has to go back on here. And then, as you can see, this is just a forcing continuation of checks. And the thing is, if black doesn't do that, if white doesn't do that, then I actually believe white is probably worse in this position. So for example, knight f3, let's just say, for argument's sake, knight e4, maybe bishop d3 here, and then queen check. What's going on here? It's quite a tactical position, and I think black is more than adequately okay here. If he plays here, he's just losing the pawn. So queen here, for example, queen d2, and then white can happily exchange here, and he's just a piece up, isn't he? In this, he's just a pawn up in this position. And white, his king is not looking too pleasant there. So it's an interesting line, and it's certainly something I would suggest looking at as black. So it's one of those positions that becomes, it's quite sharp early on, because black's intention's clear. He's not going to let white get the sort of position that he wants in the typical London setup, with c3, bishop d2, bishop d3, knight bd2, knight f3, etc., with the idea of playing knight e5 at some stage, maybe g4, h4, and hacking down the king side. So it is a crucial it's a crucial thing to be looking at, and it is a situation really where what's happening here. So that's what I believe to be a forcing line, and if for argument's sake, if white decides to not do that after rook b1, queen takes a2, queen here, and if he decides to take up here, then this is so pawn takes, knight c7 check, king d8, knight takes a8, bishop g7. And the idea of bishop g7 is obviously threatening the knight on a8 with immediate effect. But you're also stopping the idea of bishop d3, which you'll see why shortly. So after knight c7 in this position, black can actually play e5 here, I believe. Obviously if he plays knight takes, no, not e5, I don't think e5 can be played here. So knight e4, that's it. Okay, knight e4 here with the idea of queen check here, or whatnot. So, you know, it gets a very sharp line, actually. So this is the line I would propose as black. And I think it's more exciting. I think it gives a better option. And I personally think it's almost at a stage to me where black gets a really good game. So and it's something that probably white won't be anticipating, mainly because people delay c5. They don't play it with immediate effect. They delay it to sort of move 3 or a bit later. So d4, knight f6, bishop f4. So we'll look at a different line now with 2d5, delaying the obvious c5. So e3, c5, knight f3, queen b6. So you see there's a subtle difference with the two openings I played here. This is the Zhebov attack, I believe. He plays knight c3 here. And this isn't actually great for... So now white can't actually take on b2 because of knight bd5. And obviously if he plays queen b4, you've got c3 and then here, and then you're going check and winning the exchange. So that's a very unpleasant little trap there. So after queen takes b2, you play knight b5. And obviously now white hasn't got this move because he's played d5. So that was the difference in the two variations. Whereas the first variation I showed is black played c5 on move 2, delaying d5 with the idea of obviously if you then take on this line, you have knight a6 here. So knight a6 here, can play here, rook b1, queen takes a2, rook there, queen here, rook takes a6, pawn takes rook, knight c7 check, king d8, knight takes, bishop g4. And now this line, there's a slight difference in this position, very slight. And actually, I think black gets quite a good game here, to be quite honest with you. He's got the bishop pair, he's got better development, he's threatening the knight here, and he's immediately playing ideas such as e5, e5, c4, knight e4, and getting black in a lot of trouble here. So this is the line I'm proposing here. So it's black to move in this position. So obviously white's just played knight c7 because his knight was on prise with the bishop under attack. So you have two options here. Knight e2 is knight e4 is a very good move, and obviously that's potentially stopping the queen coming out because black gets mated. Or it's very ugly if nothing else. So after here, for example, queen d2, queen check, and he's getting mated. So knight e4 is a good move, and it's threatening knight c3 as well. Maybe queen b4 check. And now black's idea here is quite clear. So, for example, if you play bishop d3, you play e5, and it's getting very tactical, it's getting very sharp, and actually black's got a very nice position here. So obviously white's got various pieces on prise here. So, for example, bishop takes, c4, bishop here, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight e2, and then you've got the king, bishop b4 idea here, which is quite annoying. Or you could even play f6 here, maybe, in the first instance. Bishop comes back. I actually don't think black's doing too badly here. 5, 2, 4. He's a piece down, but He's got a piece for a pawn, so materially, obviously, white is better. But white hasn't got much play. That's the difference in this position. White's got passed pawn. Black's got passed pawn. Sorry. And you know, it's hard to assess what's going on entirely. But yeah, it's a line I would recommend. So it's definitely something worth looking at. Something I'm going to study quite a lot, quite intensively, as black, the black side of it. So I'm prepared for when my opponent plays the London system. It's not something that I fear actually, and you know, I say that to everybody. I think it's something that you shouldn't fear. So we just look at one more quick line, which is the mainline London system. So d4, d5, bishop f4, knight f6, e3, c5, knight f3, knight c6, c3. So there's two moves white can play here. White, a move Magnus Carlsen has played and a few other people, rather than playing c3 instantly, they've played knight bd2. And there is a slight subtlety in that particular reason for that move order, which I'll go into at a later stage. So in this position, c5, you know, most club players will play c5 here, in my opinion. And you know, that's pretty much a standard move. Black plays queen b6. So black has options here. He can play queen b6 and go for this line, or he can play e6, which is supposed to be the more solid of the two, I believe. Play bishop d3, play bishop d6, drop back here on g3, but you can also maybe even play knight h5 here with the concession. But it's not that good, because after takes, I mean, it looks a bit silly there. So after here, takes, pawn takes, and then after this move, black has three options really. Well, he's got more than that actually, that's not true. So